Alright, so I was talking about this before I decided to record it, but I figured I might as well record it. I said I wasn't going to, but okay. Here's something that prevents you most likely from understanding a perspective like they have in QAnon. Regardless of whatever fanciful beliefs, the cold hard truth is what makes them something that is, viable in their mind is a perspective that essentially they're just a government all the same because all a government really is a given area that decided to sign contracts with each other and establish a given law and rule and order that is enforced by individuals who wear uniforms and have bang sticks, guns, sticks, whatever, are allowed, and it is seen as that is the rule of what's going on, and people then establish that that's how this will work now from now on moving forward in a given area. People in the Middle East with various religions did it to such a degree that now they run a given country. We did it to Native Americans when we were establishing America. We did it to the Philippines. We did it to the Spanish. We did it here in the Wild West. The United Kingdom basically did it to throughout a lot of the United Kingdom and other countries. Which effectively means it's like, I know this sounds weird, but their beliefs in United Kingdom and America and everything else were seen as insane to the people that were originally there. You make it seem like they're bad, it's okay, that's normal, because they are. Generally speaking, they're not great, and we have something that's already established, but it's like very obviously insanely difficult to change it. All it takes is effectively this some gussied up theatrics for any of them, really, honestly, of the government. And next thing you know, a ceremony here and a blah 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 there, and presto changeo, it seems like it's legitimate. Because it is, because that's all anybody really is. It's a given theatrical character in a given type of quote unquote job that they play that makes many things all work together. They all sign one thing or another, put forward, hey, this is racketeering, this is pressuring, blah blah. You mean my taxes? That's all it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. You don't like it, but if they give you money, they have an established company or whatever the fuck it is, part of the government, that's all it is. But it's like, no, 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 because we don't recognize it in our place. We run this. That's what this is. We're the gang mafia that runs this place. And we don't recognize you. And it's like, I wonder why. They would be angry about their established lion pack effectively being threatened by a new lion. Now, here's the caveat I do not agree with her. But all it takes is for that to make a king or queen, like back in the day in the United Kingdom. That's how it worked. That's how old regimes got placed in with new ones. There is no difference. That's how they got caught up. Oh, so there's fanciful belief, alien, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Is she going to continue doubling down? Yes, because obviously they understand that there's something there that makes them clearly correct. Just as the established is seen as more professional, more legitimate, more credible, it doesn't change that this is essentially the same thing. Just not there yet for all of this or that, and you have to get a whole bunch of people to agree, which means establishing precedent, goods, trust, services, GDP, laws, all of that, it all has to work together like any other company. Right now, she's playing up fame and fortune, and I'm so big, but if she wants to actually make it something, she has to really make rules, laws, order, and all the rest of it, and assign people that, and build. That's all it is. That's the reason why I'm like, whoopee fucking do. You know, no offense, as much as I don't like her and I don't believe in anything that she's really doing, but for what it's worth, there's no real difference. That's the truth. Like, no, there's no stoner point here. It's just, this is how you did it. This is how it's always been done. There's no difference. You just, oh, so you went over there and you shot some guns and you blew some things up and you made formations? Does that make it better? Because you raped some people too and you really took it over and you pillaged? And you forced them to only learn your stuff? Your history? Your language? Did that suddenly make it more legitimate? No, obviously not. Which is the whole point of it. That's how you can fall into the rabbit hole. It's like, alright, so yes, obviously, but is this going to stand behind science? Is this going to stand behind engineering? Is this going to stand behind like what's actually going to be good for how you run your country, how you run your government, how you run everything else? I have several government things in my YouTube channel about how to run the rules, the laws, the ethics, the morals, the how to fucking tax, how to fucking do all of the systems. I've entirely shut up. Stop. I mean it. There's nothing that really stops or prevents me from doing the same thing except for the fact that I didn't have the money to get a couple of people, which is what she really did. I'm going to be really honest with you. She was willing to stand in the corner of the road with a bunch of people to film her and ultimately paid a bunch of people to react and do the PR campaign, and presto changeo. Now we have this. It always takes a certain amount of capital, finances, to make any of it happen. That's all it is. That's how it works. I mean, you didn't have boats from nowhere, did you? Mayflower people? You know what I mean? So, just letting you know. Yeah, granted, she's the queen and I'm the king, QA. Fuck off. Now, my belief of aliens is something entirely different that can be validated through science and technology and everything else. And instead of believing me and everything else, it turns into, I'd rather go fucking test that and have that verified and known whether or not I was right or wrong and how far and how not far, right? That goes. I don't give a fuck about it. I know what currently works because it's like, well, we have a massive history that says this type of government, that type of rule, these types of laws, this types of consideration, this type of, situational context changing of all that is good. Everybody feels happier, everybody feels validated, most of the people get properly, punished and have good justice occur. Right? That's what that is. We all would like a little bit better, but the established law and order is shit, and we know it. So it's like, well, do you want to? I'm like, yeah, obviously, I'm going to. I fucking fight for champion of change, but then at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna fucking get from me? Oh yeah, no, let me go over there, rah, 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 they're listening, rah, rah. They're doing it. We're changing. You know what? Arizona's a state that literally said, nah, fuck women. You don't deserve equal treatment in the workplace and equal funds. Pay, right? I live in Arizona. Arizona is one of those holdout states. They're like 50 of the states. How about just a majority? How about just a fucking majority? Like, holy shit. They have a majority. Why not just a majority? Why don't we change that? We could maybe pass some amendments. Holy fuck. Right? But no, they're like, the entirety of all of them How did we fucking get beer and liquor to fucking disappear? What the fuck was that? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have Arizona around that time when that was passed, by the way. I like to tell people about that, but we weren't state ratified until 1948. Like, Arizona wasn't a state until, like, 1948. We were a fairly recent state. But it's like, I like talking about this because it's like, really, realistically, a government's just this. The government we currently have is a bigger theatrics with multiple theatric plays happening within each of these little territories they claim are theirs. There's nothing changing about that, except for the fact that you can push to try and make it seem like illegitimate. And then you establish this, you buy this land, you make these rules, you sell this shit, they have to recognize you. That's all that it fucking takes to make a legitimate country. That's it. That's literally all there is to it. Go do that, Queen Romana. But she's playing, that's the thing, she's playing like she has a government. She's playing, she's doing that, oh, I'm so big and powerful, I'm so famous, I'm so cool. But she's playing. You know what that means? The people that are closest to her advisors are gonna like, oh, there's someone I don't feel comfortable anymore, and oh, have we gone too far? And then get rid of him and the cover, and then other things like, no, we need to fucking really fight for control. Actually, Romana, you're gonna be the head, but we'll run things behind, and then they'll fight or whatever, right? You know, standard bullshit. You see it every fucking time. Anytime a country changes its given power struggle. I think it's CCP Gray did a wonderful power struggle video back in the day. And it's effectively that. Like, you have to fight this, you have to do these assurances, you have to maintain power, you have to blah, 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 blah. It's all the same fucking shit. It hasn't changed. It really hasn't. But it's like, this is coming from a woke rainbow liberal. He's an anarchist socialist democrat. And I'm like, oh no, telling the truth, that's what makes it happen. That's all any of it is. So it's like, man, do I want to do January 6th? Fuck no. Fuck that. You're gonna fucking that'll work. Hell, look at the Confederacy. Man, they still fucking pissed. They really won that one. Meanwhile, let's make an airship colony here, and then go over into national waters, and then I have like a couple of places in various, countries that I bought land at, and like those are a port of call, and then we'll, make and manufacture things up in the air using solar and wind and all that stuff, and then, like we'll make like, recycling and renewable resources be our type of thing, right? Yeah, and then, there's nothing saying that national waters can't be mined. I mean, there are various minerals in there, of course, right? And, we trade out food and whatever, okay? So then we can slowly make certain types of minerals and metals and whatnot happen from our fecal matter and filtration and sewage and, that kind of thing. I can easily make it such that, like, because it's impossible to make bombs and bane sticks and stuff like that. You can't... Man, everybody, watch this. There's some fucking tubes with some plastic, and they go bzzz down to the ground below. That's right, look at my fiber optic fucking magnifying glass to the people below. Nothing saying I can't do it, Bo. I'm just saying, that's directed energy weapon. You said that you carry whatever. Meanwhile, I'm going over into space with my fucking space colony. My airship. Oh yeah, I totally care. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give a fuck at all. Why would I care? Right? It's like I got an established government, how it runs, and everything else. those are required things for everyone that needs it. All I ever do, and anyone that's like gonna help me with that, is make sure you get your education, make sure you get your health care, make sure you get your fucking, you know, uh, needs met for housing, clothing, food, water, energy, sewage, all of that. That's all I do. I don't give a fuck. That's my dictatorship. That's not like, ooh, man, ooh, I'm gonna be a type of, agency or some shit. No, no, that's it. I'm a dictatorship. Like, all you ever do is just watch and make sure that you are definitely teaching them correctly. Hey, oh, were you gonna go over there and do something you shouldn't? No. Yeah, that's not what it says right here in this exactingly precise camera work. Hey! It's a good thing we prevented you, huh? Anyways, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, so here's something, because light can go backwards and forward in time, and it was confirmed by science and physics a while back. Okay, I was like, well, if you manage to use causal set theory and the given physics of that to ultimately entangle and influence in a non-direct way to capture preceding wavelengths of light over a given period of time, you can view things in the past very, very, very accurately. And a little bit further forward, right? Even inside of your brain, if you know how to do that correctly. I was thinking about the whole alien adjacent thing. I have like amino acid alien things that I talk about. That's in my audio blogs. My very first, I re-uploaded it and did another one again. Right? But it's like, that's a whole other thing where cellular structure networks are made out of, well, instead of our type of thing, which is DNA, it's an amino acid. It's a polymerized amino acid that's a polystructural amino acid. And so their cellular networks work off of that for the membranic and more. But see, they can break down their cellular networks, which are effectively just organs. Okay, so any cell network is an organ that performs a given function. That's all they are. Right? They have an input and an output. That's all it does. So if you know how to understand that, then it's like, well, effectively, these are second generation star people. And so as a result, they've been around for a while, but then they were also terrible, like shitty, kind of narcissistic, entitled, all these, like the things that we generally speaking hate as humans anyways. And they yeet them out of a spaceship, apparently, on our planet. They were apparently able to break down their bodies thanks to their given structure of themselves. They're not blob people, but then at the same time, it's a whole thing with, like, technology and shit. So, and by yeeted out, I mean they were fucking annoying and they didn't like them anymore. Now, granted, I just would like to actually verifiably prove that instead of trust me, bro. Just, you gotta trust me. Instead of fucking trust me, it's let's test it and then we can see. My brain can do that itself with the field, because if you think it can only be done using light, it can be done using electromagnetic, electrostatic, and other electromagnetic forces for the fundamental forces, which your brain uses. So there's that. Anyways, it's like, all right, so let's test it. Let's say it happened. It's like they were supposed to apparently, not supposed to. There's no supposed to. So they happened to show up when we started evolving as a species. The Native Americans had like skinwalkers or something. And it's throughout a lot of history. And it used to be a folklore, but from my able to see it, stuff, I'd like to be able to test it, know how right or wrong I am. It shows off as them having effectively infected us with that amino acid, a polystructural polymerized amino acid that apparently can store information of how their brain works and their personality and more, and influence our neurosynaptic networks. They can cross the blood-brain barrier and ultimately change how the connections, how the firing of our brain and more work. We already know several different types of species that do this on our planet that are using DNA. If you think our brains are infallible and cannot be taken over like that, you're wrong. They can. They can be taken over that way. And so, some people, like myself, have natural immunity. Others don't. Some people are most likely like, I'm alien adjacent, Queen Romana. And I'm like, all aliens that I've ever found on this planet, which are them, by the way, okay, they're the amino acid thing, are gabagoos. They're narcissistic, entitled, garbage, psychopathic, sociopathic, manipulative, I hate you all types of people. You didn't have that type of reaction until they showed up. You worked very well in a group. You had great cohesiveness, and yes, while there's arguments or whatever, you were incredibly good at communicating and not manipulating each other. Then the aliens showed up, and everything got worse. So, I'm alien adjacent, to me, says, I don't want to be very, I don't want to be associated with that. I'm queen. You're a gabagoo, aren't you? You're a fucking gabagoo. You're a gabagoo. I don't like you. I know what that shit is. I know everything about that. I have to fucking constantly deal with them because they are always, fucking propagating themselves as these stupid polymerized, breaking down, able to combine again, fucking amino acid compounds, which turns out back in the mid-2010s, I forget when it was, it had been 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, something like that. Before 2020, mid-2010 to 2020, they came out with several different types of those polystructural polymerized amino acids that showed that can store information and act very similar to DNA. And even seemed to suggest that memories and more can be stored in them. And then I recently cross-posted on my Reddit how RNA and mRNA can store memories. So if you think it can't be done, well, no, it can be. You're probably just not very well versed in that. Instead of me being a Q and a conspirator and everything else, it turns into, I don't think you know how little work you probably put into your thinking. I went and trained the shit in my brain to be able to really possibly see something. And I then tested over and over and over. And I'm living that problem now, where either somehow I did it incorrectly and it influenced the future and the choices that are going to be made and more. Kind of like an Alan Wake, right? Alan Wake stuff. Or, ultimately, I just saw it happen. And then, without knowing anything about any of these given individuals, never deeply diving into their history or anything else, I somehow predicted perfectly their past. Over and over and over with insanely high accuracy, to the point where I'm not sure if I can trust the ones I'm wrong on. So it's like, for me, the Queen Romana reaction is, I wouldn't go along with that. I already have on my channel, the government stuff, you can literally search for it. That's how I view how we should do it. This is a way to no longer have any doubt at all. Any redacted information, MK Ultra, any of it, that you haven't had information for, you can now just look. Well, you weren't there. Well, here we go. We're there now. We can see it. There's no hiding, even from your own thoughts and your reactions and emotions. But it's like, do you see how pitifully passive-aggressive, bitter, and petty people are? It's like, a lot of us are imperfect people. We have to acknowledge that as a context and situation. Okay, we have to. But some people definitely fucking deserve to get fucking punished. And some of you are gabagoos that, for fucking real, we don't need to do any more of these tests and, ask question, blah, blah. It's like, nope, this is what it is. Boom. Black and white. Pretty fucking simple and super easy to slowly or over time, very quickly, get better and better at viewing all the different intricate influences and teasing out the situation in context until eventually you arrive at a appropriate summary of everything after that investigation, and then ultimately have a good, for the person, the victim, result of justice given and made as a punishment to those who did it. That's another part of my government thing. Alrighty, have a good day. Please like and subscribe, and, share it. Please and thank you. Bye.